Have more I'm going to address a little later on, but shout to CommenterNation, Greatest Nations, United Nations. Repost and retweet on all your social medias, all my videos, and push the agenda. The same way, push Queen Prodigy's petition. Support her in asking this and pushing this out there to the public. Now, let's talk about this real quick. There are very interesting people I'm contacting on the side that I believe are people of influence. I believe I'm in direct contact with people of influence that people are trying to bring out there and say that are my enemies, may not really be my enemies. Why do I say this? Because I've recently did some research on certain people I've been communicating with at a very early time I thought were normal people around the situation, and they're turning out to not be. But let's bring this up. All of the random names we see coming up, hating and different things, what realm would you say that they're in? Who's really pushing for the justice in this situation? Now let's think back. And this is called a think back. Looking at the investigation, do you believe the initial paperwork that was released on what happened has been proven true? And if not, what are the things that were falsified within the report allegedly to the situation that could have coerced information to make guilt on people that weren't guilty? Now, here's my thing. We could sit back and say these suspects did it. We could sit back and say these suspects carry all the indications of having been involved. But if we consider the time period in which they were caught and the influence around it, how do I know the paperwork's correct? Again, investigations went down a certain way. We remember X saying that there was corruption in the place. We even have stories that showed there were officers that paid the price for being corrupt. How long are we going to allow that to fall by the wayside? Is there any way that we could question the way the story was released to us in an official manner? Was there someone claiming they were official and they weren't really as official as they say they were within the information that was released, down to the vehicles used, down to the crisis? And I agree. A commenter made a very good point. The information that was released, the different models of cars were switched up synonymously. It was never released as one car and kept that way. We heard about a Charger, a Dodge Journey, just many different cars. And I agree with that commenter. So within this story release, is there anyone that could co-sign how it happened? We even heard that they left to go get silicone masks. And then I hear, oh no, they got it from the store they were at. How is this possible? Who would do these things? Yeah, we're talking about the suspect's credibility. Why was the suspect's credibility played with? Why did we have people taunting the situation from the side with a mixtape and trying to do freestyles over a beat when they were never questioned? But they did it on social media, then retracted it, and no one even cared. So who really cares around the situation? Is it possible the enforcement that is around the investigation don't genuinely care? Is that a possibility? Or is it also a possibility that someone had to go ahead from a higher proceeding to act in a certain way? And this is a murder investigation. Remember, this is no simple issue. This isn't another day in court. This isn't another action, another situation. This is a high profile case that is being played out this way. Yet we know if it was an affiliate, a relative, a child of one of these investigators, they'd sincerely investigate it. Well, I have other stories that show that to be true. So that is why I'm asking this. Do you believe that report was falsified in any certain way? And is there anyone that can prove that? Now, I have someone reaching out to me that has the credibility, claims they have the credibility to back up what Zabella has said. It is not Zabella herself. Matter of fact, I have not spoken with her in days. It is literally someone who says, I can back up what she says. I'm going to conference with this individual soon, and we are going to figure out the credibility. And if she proves credible in any way, this is bad. For whoever's involved, this is bad, because this not only shows she could have been potentially threatened, but it shows her Not only being taunted by people around the situation, but also having the proof to prove who's actually a bad guy. Now, she said some very serious things, and they were serious accusations. That's the least I could say. Why hasn't she been questioned? I don't know. Why is she being threatened? I can guess. Who's actually around her as a friend or foe? We don't know. But I can tell you one thing, that with evidence to prove this to be true, it creates a new environment for life around her. This literally will turn her from another person into a key prospective witness. Someone who can be very honest and upfront about things, having intimately known different people around the case. You see, the people who are making the threats, I believe and perceive to have been people who were affiliated, possibly in affection with her. But now, because they can allegedly be implicated, in a way, they're having hatred around her. But how does this connect to the investigation itself? How would these law officials have knowledge of the indication of what's going on if there was no way that they made a connection? So let's perceive that that would be the case. Is it possible that these officials allegedly showed up to parties that were around the situation and were indicated in the situation the same as I'm finding these official parties occurring around me? Could there have been parties where they showed up and they joined in the fun along with whoever else was partying? Is this possible? Yay or nay? Is this possible? Very interesting. Very interesting. So this not only shows deeper motive, but this shows connections. Who had the connections? How were these connections relevant to the situation? Very interesting. Let me know, commenters. What do you think about a potential connection between the enforcement and the people involved in order, whether it was for alleged fun, whether it was for a product, or anything that would be gratuitous in order for them to enjoy themselves around the busy workday of fighting crime? Interesting. Is Zabella the key to this? Is this other person who claims they can provide a cosign for her going to be the one that breaks the mold of everything we spoke of? This is huge, because if I find this person's evidence to not only prove motive, but to prove her true, this confirms a lot about a lot of people she said that we did not find credible. Nothing to do with her Instagram rants, nothing to do with anything anyone has kind of went at her for in the comments. This has everything to do with what her and I talked about. And these are serious accusations. If this proves true, this will change the very format and understanding of what actually happened and how it's relevant to what we talked about. See, relevancy is everything. Truth is everything. Being able to back it up with receipts of what she said is everything. That is why I spoke of it objectively. But once I get this information, it will no longer be objective. If I have things written, if I have messages proven, that would be a cosign by someone saying what she told you was fact. What she was trying to say, all true. This is bad for you. This is bad. Whoever's involved, this is bad for you. Because if we can validate what she says, Zabella will no longer be someone taken for a joke. No longer be someone you can threaten easily. Because anyone who did threaten her, if you come up, you're affiliated to the situation, period. That's why I told you it wasn't a good idea to make the threats you made. I read them. That wasn't a good idea. All we need is connecting information that shows that there was a deeper motive. And if this provides motive for the investigation itself, which means investigators and people who are of law, you're even worse off. Because if I get a hold of your videos like I did here, wow. Wow. Let's get it. Let's get it. Dang. And you know how I rock. Always. All rights reserved.